Hello there and welcome to the tutorial revisited. I've had so many questions about what to do with elements of the tutorial. I thought I'd do another tutorial now that I know the tutorial itself. This is just the controls, and as it tells you, the WASD moves you, left shift sprints you, right control crouches you, X zooms, E use space to jump, and F activates the flashlight. And as you can see, the flashlight shines up a bit brighter than normal. Right, in here we're shown for some bizarre reason we've got the word action at the top of the screen. I don't know why. Right, shift and drag, pick up, you hold down the E key on whatever it is you want to pick up and it will hold it in the air. Like so. Yes, you can do this. This takes a long time to do. However, if you hit the E key and then the R key, it puts you in your hand, and this is what this will tell you here. No, it won't. It's this one that tells you this. Left alt to put it in the inventory, left alt to use the objects, E and R to hold the objects, left mouse button to R says drop, but R doesn't put it. It doesn't drop it. It actually puts it in your inventory from your hand. So E, if you let go of E, it drops. If you hold E and R, it puts it in your hand. If you E and R again, it puts it in your inventory. But if you just hit R, it also puts it in the inventory. So for some bizarre reason there's like an action button over there. Is it because I'm picking? No, it could be. Anyway, maybe it's maybe yes. I see. It's actually the word interaction, but it's not actually it's not actually rendering it full screen, if that makes sense. So to open up your inventory, you hit the tab key, it brings up your inventory. Drops it on the floor. Place will place it in front of you. Info will give you the information on it. For example, it's a crowbar and it's equipment or weapon, and hold will put it in your weapon hand. And what it's asking you to do is to hold down the left key and break open these boxes. Now, as you may have seen in the game, and you may have not seen in the game, that doesn't actually matter anymore. You don't have to break open the boxes. Right. We'll skip past all of these because they are not very helpful in finding out what you got to do. So, because I've got the crowbar in my hand, I need to put the crowbar in my inventory. So, E brings that up, and E holds it in my hand. Now, I want to try something because I've never tried this in normal gameplay. So, no, okay. So, drop. Okay, so I can't. Right. Okay. That's probably where you're the person who said about they can't fit the drive in. You can't put the drive in here in the demo until there's a signal fully downloaded. That is important. Okay, you can't do what I do in game in the tutorial, because the tutorial does things a bit different to the way the main game plays. Right, so basically what you do is you look at the coordinate panel, press E on the coordinate panel, hold down shift, and you've got 4 signals in the area. You then spin the map a space until you find what you're looking for. And what you're looking for is a circle. The circle could be as big as this circle is, or really, really, really small. But there's always a circle. And don't worry if you can't find it immediately, if you go away and then come back. It will always be in the same place. However, if you can't see it immediately, hit the space key and you'll see that there's arrows and they point to the direction of where it is. Hit the return key and hopefully you'll get a successful ping. Then that satellite will start to rotate and point towards where the signal is in the sky. And you can tell when it's found what it's looking for, because that will stop beeping. And it will start to download the signal. Now, as you can see, I've instantly got the correct polarity and the correct frequency, but I'm going to show you what to do anyway. So, you can't turn both of these on in the demo, you can only turn one on at a time, right? So, there's 3 polarities. There's linear, left and right polarities. Holding down the E key on the knob you want to try. I always use 1. You can use 5s or 15s if you like. Hold down the E key on the one you want to control, move the screen up to where you want to be, and then move the scroll wheel up to move it clockwise and down to move it anti-clockwise. As you can see, none of this is picking up because I deliberately moved away. So that's not linear. It's not left, because I know it's not left or linear, because for some bizarre reason it decided to give me the signal straight away. And right, okay. And then it will flash up white in a minute, up there. And that's how you can tell you've got the right space. And again, with the E key held down, just scroll the wheel down until it hits 0, offset 0 speed. Do not have speed 1 or -1 unless you turn it off. But my advice is just to leave it at 0. That way you can leave these buttons always on. Right, as you can see, we've got a filter offset of 001 degrees. And the same principle as the one, you hold down the E key on the one you want to move. And then you can either go down or up, and this one is going to be up. And then you're basically trying to make the output data read 100% as well. So wait for that to get there. We'll just dial that in a bit better. And I'm going up to go upwards in the filter and down to go downwards in the filter. It can't be below 0, it can't be above 1000. So now that's downloading. Do not set new coordinates for a new signal, because you'll lose the signal you've got here. Once the signal has been downloaded, and you can tell it's been downloaded because you'll say 100% downloaded, and the detector status is at 100%. They both have to be at 100% in the demo. That will beep at you in the proper game. Once it's there, you can save the signal. Once it's in this playback panel, you can put the drive in. Note, you only have to do this in the demo. You do not have to do this in the proper game. The proper game allows you to put drives in even before there's a signal here to download. And as you can see, we've got Planet Zero, today's date and time, and basically if we play the signal now, you get a lot of nonsense. So over here is where all the signals go and everything else. So if you now look at the screen here, if I open this up with Alt and E, this doesn't tell me anything. This is just all the upgrades. Normally this has other things on it like signal and everything else. You would hit save signal if you want to not process, if you want to get that signal done to send off straight away. Because you can always make a copy of that signal and send off a processed copy. But in this demo we only have one signal we can work with. So let's bring that over here. Do you know what? I'm going to try something whilst I'm here. Just to make this a bit different from the other times I've done this demo. I'm just out of interest, what would happen if I... because there's more than one signal. So as you can see, oh, it can do it now. For some bizarre reason it can do it now after I've done it once. Don't ask me why. Right, as you can see, that is... as you can see, that's completely different. So as we before, those two are now on. So let's go linear, and we're going up by linear. And as you can see, there it is. And that white spark come about here. So we dial it in. Don't worry, you can't go wrong as long as you keep on dialing it. Hence the reason why I use one. I use one personally because I can dial it in better when I need to get the exact settings right. So as you can see, that's that done. Here comes the signal in. And this is the system at its, and as you can see I've got to 1000 there, so it can't be any higher, so it stops going up. And what I can do is bring it down, and again you're just looking for the output data to equal 100. Obviously in the early game this will fluctuate really rapidly. But this is running on a very upgraded standard, because nobody really wants to wait the legitimate time to do it in the demo. Right, with your signal processed and probably saved over here, put the drive in here. Now this here, the processing panel, will do nothing at the start until your computer level is up from 0. So for example, computer level 1 means you can process signals to level 1, computer level 2 can process level signals up to level 2, and computer level 3 will process signals up to level 3. What you do is you hit the yellow button to extract it into the machine, and it will tell you that it's the planet and details, and that's red, and then you start the process. You can stop the process at any time, but don't do it. There's no point really. The only reason you would ever need to stop the process is if you are coming to an end of a game session and it hasn't finished processing. Because for some reason, sometimes, and I don't know why, sometimes it will glitch out and mean that you lose the signals that's in the process. Interesting noise for that to make. So that's now processed at level 1, and getting processed level 2, processed level 3. Level 3s are the best ones to have. They give you more money when you send them off to the other scientist. But of course, when you start the game, you've only got level 0 signals, so just send whatever you get. Send whatever you get and do the hash codes, and I will show you how the hash codes work, even though the hash codes aren't enabled in this version of the demo. So I'm just waiting for this to process. So as before, we've got the drive in there, which is what you can do in the full version. Put the drive in, save the signal, put the drive on there, and that's now give us Planet 1. And once about in they're exactly the same signal. Because they wouldn't think anybody was going to be intelligent enough to go and do a second signal off that. So we'll just wait for this to process. But of course you can't do any processing on a drive, so your drive will end up like that anyway. Once it's processed to 3 or 2 or 1, hit the upload and extract, and that puts it back on the system. And as you can see, that one is now green, meaning that's a level 3 signal, right? Level 1 is red. Level 0 is red, sorry. Level 0 is red. And now what I'm going to do is show you these stages. So we're just waiting for that to process. And all the time, all I'm doing is holding down the E key to pick things up and hold them in my hand. Well, hold them out in front of me instead of hold them in my hand. If that makes sense. Right, so that's now processed. So you press the yellow button and then it puts that onto the drive again. And as you can see, it's got one light there. So we put that in there, upload and extract, and as you can see, that is yellow, which means that that is level 1. And if you've got more than one here, which I never really have, you can scroll by holding down the E key on the scroll key and moving it down to wherever you want it to be, and then select the one you want and then put it back on the drive, and over it goes. So yellow is 1, orange is 2, so yellow is 1, This will be orange when I finished processing it. So as you can see, finished 2 lights over here, put that on there, and that is now yellow again. Okay. Anyway, so what happens is you finally process all the signals up to 3. Okay, so once you've done that, what it needs to be telling you is what you do next. But it won't tell you what to do next from here, because it wants to teach you about this thing over here, the consoles and the upgrade system. Right. The console. Each console has a name. For example, we are at root. Now I've just got to check which way around this is done. Ping. Ping. Couch. Callow. And then target. The reason why I've had to write that down is because they have to be done in that order in the demo, but don't have to be done in that order in the full game. So as you can see, each one of these computers has a disk slot in them, and these are in the base and in the satellites. These here are server repair disks. Server repair disks are pink or purple or whatever colour you want to call that, and they're not yellow, which looks like a standard CD. You put them in the disk slot and they instantly work. Unfortunately, these cost money unless you break open, well, unless you find another way to get hold of them. Sorry, did you see that? Something like red glowing across there. And it wasn't the satellite, because the satellite's dead ahead. So unless it's another satellite, but it moved whilst I was looking up there. Right, so as you can see, I've solved these two, but I need to solve this one. So once again, you hit the E key and you go into the puzzle screen. Each one of these is a simple puzzle. It is so simple that I get it wrong every time. 7 plus 2 is 9. Right, 6 plus 7, or 2 7s are 14 and 1 less is 13. However, you can see that there is no number 13. What you need to do is assume that once you go over 10, you take 10 off. So the answer there is 13. The answer would be 3, because 10 is less. 10 off 3, because as soon as you go above 10, which is 0, you have to count upwards again. So it's 3. 0 minus 2, well, that is negative 2. Once again, we can only see positive integers. So with negative integers, you go backwards across the number line as you would do normally. but in a reverse audio. So -2 is 0, 1, 2, because that makes it a positive integer instead of the negative integer of itself. 8 minus 6 is 2. 0 minus 2 equals 2. 1 minus 0 equals 1. 4 minus 8 is like 8 minus 4, which is 4. And 0 plus 2 equals 2. That's all the servers repaired, and I had to repair all the servers so I could activate the route. Hence the reason what it's teaching you there is you need to have the satellite, the servers working before you can do anything. Right, in here I'm going to do something a bit fun. It works in this as well. Okay, that's an Easter egg. I might not include that in the final edit or leave it as a bit of a special at the end. Right, so basically I usually ignore this. SV ping will tell you that Bravo is working. What you're looking for there is to see that the server is broken, because it should receive 4 full packages. If it's broken, it will receive 0 4 packages. I've never had it happen, and yet I will see it one day, where it receives 3 or 4 or 2 or 4 or 1 or 4. That will be interesting to see what happens in those circumstances if they ever go that way. So that is ping done, right? So the next thing it's asking you to do is do couch, which is SD cal. I don't use that. I don't usually do the couch of the single satellite I'm in, mainly because to me it's more better to just fix it anyway. Right, so SD cal, which is where we are, and then we've got to calibrate Bravo, and we can't calibrate Bravo. Oh, we can calibrate Bravo. Normally you would not be able to calibrate Bravo from here. If you're at the route in base, you can't calibrate Bravo. No, you can calibrate Bravo from the base. You can calibrate any satellite from the base. It's when the satellite's broken, you've got to go to there anyway. So, next thing you do is go SD, and then it's cal all. That calibrates all the satellites there is. They only calibrate, they calibrate in order, not in alphabetical order. They calibrate in a weird order I can never remember. They calibrate in order, but if one of the satellites is broken, then it won't go through that calibration. Okay, so for example, if you've got, say it goes Lima, Hotel and India, if Hotel's broken, it will not go on to India. It needs them all fixed and working for it to go through the sequence. And then SV target, and we're targeting Bravo because that's the only satellite we have. Right. And I've just written that all down, and then I've got it in the wrong order. Ping SV couch, yes. SD cal, yes. SD cal, yes. an SV target name. Did I? Let's just tell you a thing about the server. So what have I got wrong here then? Ping, couch, cal, all, target. SV ping SD couch SD cal Bravo and SD cal all, and then SV target Bravo. Oh, thank you. There was something I did wrong, but I don't know what it was. Right, what it's now asking you to do is to put the drives in the box, but what it's not teaching you in this version, and I can't show you because there seems to be it's a space jellyfish. Okay. Right, sorry, I just noticed that as well. Oh, okay. What it doesn't teach you, and I don't know why it doesn't teach you this, is the hash code. Once you go to a satellite, when you open up the emails on the, let me show you. Once you open up here, you have an option for emails. In the email option, yeah, it will tell you the two places you've got to go to get the hash code and the what signals they want you to get today. So let's imagine this says Bravo here, right? Because I can't show you with any others, because Bravo's the only route. So I would what would normally happen here is you would go out to Bravo, out across the grounds, wherever it may be, and come get to Bravo's computer, log into Bravo's computer, obviously if they're still working, and then you would type in sv.hash. Now this will say error. Yeah, cannot access the satellite. What would then happen is you'll get a string of, I think it's about 12 to 14 characters, and they can be numbers or lowercase characters. For example, that could happen, or that won't happen, but that's just an example of what I'm trying to show you. You get a string of characters and numbers, and they're always in lowercase and no uppercase, always lowercase and numbers, right? Write that down or write it on a piece of paper that comes with the notebook, which I can't show you here because there is no notebook. In the main game you have a notebook, and on the notebook's page over to the left you have two options. You have a loan option and a report option. Click the report option, it will copy over the text you need with the name of the satellite and a row of X's. Delete the row of X's and write next to that as it appears on screen, so in lowercase, not uppercase, lowercase letters and numbers. And I can show you because I've just realised that there's a piece of paper here. So here down here, yep. So if I go report, it will go satellite hashcode report form, and we'll just go Bravo, for example, because that's the one we've got here, BRAVO, and then we've got the numbers 644-19WEQN14, for example. It won't be that code, it will be totally random every time. Don't worry, when you click report in the full game, it will come up with Bravo straight away, and then you just fill in the details. Tear it off and put it on the box. Alt-E to open, take the lid off the box, hold the lid with E, drop the lid down, and then you just put in these drives in the box by holding E on the drive and put them in the box. Don't worry, you can only put in drives here, as many drives as 8 as there is. Obviously in the early game you'll only have like 1 or 2 drives to go. Later on in the game you might have 8 drives to go, depending on how well you're doing. Put the letter on the top of the box, put the box on the middle of the circle, go over the other side of the garage, open up the panel and press E, and then that will start the drone on its journey to you to pick it up. Once it's picked it up, it will fly off. They'll give you the money for whatever you've got, depending on how well you did, and then use whatever you need to get, food, upgrades, whatever. Hopefully that tutorial is going to be a great help for you all, and I do recommend playing this game. So please watch the rest of the series if you're interested in the rest of the series. It's all up here. But as ever, I want to say like, comment and subscribe, and then of course till next time, share and enjoy.